Hi, this is Delilah with Art by Delilah, and I have a passion for painting. Today, I'm doing a basic landscape. I'm using the colors Quick Dry White, Cadmium Yellow Pale, Cadmium Yellow Deep, Cadmium Red, and Alizarin Crimson, Ultramarine Blue, and Phthalo Blue with Quick Dry White. The first thing I do is decide if I want the canvas to be horizontal or landscape, and I've decided on landscape. Next I take, and I need to tone the canvas, and I take a mixture of blue, permanent blue, and of the ultramarine blue and the the azalea crimson, and I mix it together to make a purple. I then take just a small dab of that and add it to the cadmium yellow deep. So I get almost a color that would be very similar to yellow ochre. And I'm going to tone my canvas with that. I put a big smear on the canvas. Well, I've got my mixture of yellow ochre, which I made from the ultramarine and the alizarin crimson and a little bit of the cad yellow. And what I do now is I just take some turpentine and I smear it around. I just want to give it a nice background so I'm not painting on white. Now you can let that dry if you want, but because I'm going to paint right over what I do next, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to just do a quick sketch of what I want, and I'm going to use that same color of yellow ochre, only a little darker, to make my quick sketch. And I'm doing a house here in the background. Kind of sketch it in real quick. And it doesn't have to be perfect because, gee whiz, I'm going to go right over it again with some other colors. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of a feel for where I want my objects. Big hill coming down here, kind of around that house. I've got some rocks outcropping. And then my trees. So as you can see, that's just a sketch that I'm kind of going to go over again, and so it doesn't have to be perfect. The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to establish my value relationships for this painting, and I develop a light color, which is just white and cadmium yellow. The pale, the deep. I add cadmium yellow deep to quite a bit of white. And then my middle value is cadmium yellow light, cadmium yellow deep, and a touch of a phthalo blue. Then for my middle dark value, it's the same value that I use to tint the canvas with. It's the yellow ochre that I made up, which was ultramarine, alizarin crimson, and a small dab of cadmium yellow deep. And then my darkest dark in my painting will be made up of colors of violet that I made with ultramarine and phthalo blue, and just a touch of cadmium yellow deep. That's going to give me that dark grayed color for my shadows and the deep, deep darks that you're going to see in the painting. Now these references are going to help me establish my other colors when I start putting in my shapes. And the first shape I'm going to put in is the sky color. And the sky color will be somewhere between the lightest light and the medium value. So it's going to be right in here somewhere, not lighter than this and not darker than that. I've got my sky and some of my basic shapes. I'm still adding more colors as I go and deepening things up, adding a little more shadowy color here. I've got trees that are overhanging, and I'm wanting them to not be quite as dark as my darkest dark here, where the shadows are, but pretty dark in there, but not quite as dark as over here. As you can see, I'm just putting in some of the local color, and then I'll go in later and decide exactly how much of that I'm going to want. So, kind of just putting things together right now. Putting some of those shadows in. I've got a big rock wall that's going to be right there. So, just kind of trying to get a little bit of that shape in there. As I come down the hill here, thinking maybe I want a little bit more of that yellow ochre in there. And as you can see, as it hits those other colors and kind of combines, because I do wet on wet, it does a little bit of its own mixing, which is kind of nice. One thing nice about using a limited palette is the whole painting comes together quite nicely.